I told you yesterday about the Janczewski family in Michigan that had their 8th grader, their son, raped by a teacher. A local school district in a small little town, Rose, Michigan. Teacher had molested their 8th grade son. And then the teachers, 6 teachers, spoke out against the sentence for this molester. Quote, Neil has pleaded guilty to this one criminal offense, and he's not a predator. I'm sorry. I know this sounds crass, but I really want an answer. Was this 8th grader just incredibly hot? Did this 30-year-old man find some spiritual connection with this one 8th grader? I'm sorry, but if you are finding yourself attracted to an 8th grader once, you got a problem, man. You got a real problem. He's not a predator. He understands the severity of his actions and a sincere desire to make amends. There are no amends. Millstone around your neck. Try that one. Well, we told you about this. We had John, the father of the victim, on the phone with us yesterday. He said Saturday, 1:30 in the morning, we woke up. It was a bomb sound going off. They blew up and burned down our garage because this family is speaking out against the teachers. And they have been receiving warning phone calls from the teachers and from the people who are supporting the teachers saying, shut up about this. Excuse me? What are we living in? Last night, I thought we had a chance of living in America again. Last night, there was a school board meeting. They had it at the local high school. All the neighbors and everybody showed up to vote. Are we going to fire these teachers? And the guy who was supporting the pedophile on the school board, he said, well, you support the teachers, the town's going bankrupt. Good. Stand in line on the bankruptcy window. Everybody seems to be doing it nowadays. I thought it was a popular thing to do. Why would they go bankrupt? Because the teachers would all sue. You know, it's time for a people's union. Somebody that actually represents the people. Because you're getting screwed every step of the way by these unions. You're getting screwed every step of the way by people who are insane. So what happened? Well, I'm going to let Lori, the mother of the victim, tell the story. Hello, Lori. How are you?
Good. How are you?
First of all, we found out about your condition yesterday. I'm sorry to hear about your cancer, and we are deeply saddened by what happened to your son. And your husband explained on yesterday's program about how he totally changed and started lashing out, and just you guys didn't know, and you were trying to figure it out.
Well, and at the time, we thought it was just puberty arising. He was 13. You know, half the time, 13-year-olds can't dress themselves, let alone do anything else. And that's what we figured was going on. And it just continued to get worse. There was verbal abuse. Our household was a living hell. Our daughter lost her only brother during years she needed him. He was embarrassed. He was humiliated. And at one point, Neil Erickson told him, because I work for the school district as a special education parapro, and I've worked with all these teachers that wrote letters of leniency. I've been in their classrooms for the last 10 years. But Neil Erickson had told our son if he said anything, I would lose my job. At that time, my husband was unemployed, so I was the only income.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot for a 13-year-old to take in and handle.
Tell me how old Neil Erickson was at this time.
I believe he's 38 or 39 now, so he would have been about 30 years old.
30 years old, and he finds something sexually attractive in your 13-year-old, and these teachers try to actually say that guy doesn't have a problem except this one time. What is wrong with these teachers?
Well, I worked in their classrooms, and they were a very big clique. They would go camping together and party together, and if you weren't in that clique, you didn't count. And we were in the courthouse for the sentencing, And we were happy with his sentencing. He got 15 to 30 years, and he's in Jackson prison right now. We couldn't be more happier. The judge really gave it to him, and he deserved that. But when we were standing in the courtroom, and all of these teachers that I have worked with and that are supposed to be there taking care of our students and supporting them in every way, every one of them walked past us and never said a word, including the school board member. And they all went to sit with Neil Erickson's wife.
Oh,
they
gosh.
said they were there for the family.
His wife, tell me his wife is still married to this guy?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
And she
Dear God, what a
has
sickness.
I believe her daughter is 6, and she was begging for mercy on
Her
the court,
daughter
so
is
her daughter
6.
wouldn't
Her daughter
see her
is
dad.
6, and she wants this guy living in the house with her daughter who is 6. Okay, tell me what happened last night. You got to the high school, and what did your friends and neighbors of Rose, Michigan actually say and do?
There was approximately 300 people in the high school auditorium.
Hang on just a second. Hold on, Lori. I'm sorry to interrupt. How many kids go to this school?
District-wide, I would say about 2,000.
About 2,000, and only 600 parents decided to show up to talk about the people.
300.
300. Only 300. So only 150 students had representatives there. Their parents actually would come to talk about who was watching over their children after a molestation. Okay, go ahead.
And we reiterated the fact that when these teachers wrote letters, they put in where they worked, and built Neil Erickson up and gave him this wonderful profile, which I could have lived with and set aside until they put at the bottom of their letters that there was no harm done to our son. He's a straight A student.
My
He
gosh.
doesn't appear to be affected at all.
Oh, my God.
And then, no, I can't live with that. They had no idea, and how dare they say?
Did you speak,
that
Lori?
he's
Did you get
fine.
up and refute that?
Yes, I did.
And your 16-year-old daughter got up and spoke too, but I got a note that they didn't even listen to her.
No, they didn't.
What did she say?
She right now, if she had to go to school all last year, she sat in Tony Erickson's classroom, which is Neil's wife.
Oh my gosh!
And
His wife is one of these teachers?
yes,
Lori, you got to get out of this town. I don't know what
Jeez.
the hell is wrong with this town.
Wow.
Seriously. You
Serious.
have got to get out of this town. I don't know what is wrong with this town.
How many people did you have the impression were there supporting you of the 300, Lori?
I would say about 95%.
Wow. That's good. That's
So
good.
so what did why did they decide to keep the teachers?
They claim it fell under First Amendment speech when they wrote those letters. And they do not want the teachers to come back with a civil suit because it will bankrupt the school.
Okay, so we're down to money. We're down to money.
Exactly.
It is, by the way, it is their right to say whatever they want, but it is also community standards. You have a right to voice your opinion. You do that, but that doesn't mean you have no consequence to that. If I get up and I say, you know what, I'm for terrorism, do you think I am going to have any repercussions? I can talk about my First Amendment right to say that all I want, but there are repercussions to your speech. And if you are saying things that is against community standards, you generally live a life alone as a hermit.
Well, and what hurts the most is not one of them have come to us and apologized for their behavior. They have not once said, how is your son doing? One teacher cornered me in a classroom with students in it, and she sat there and she said, Neil made a mistake. He was at a bad point in his life.
Oh, my...
Why are you pressing charges? I had 2 pages of questions that she asked me in a classroom that I walked out, called my husband, called the state police, and she immediately lawyered up. Now, the school's attorney said it's a she said thing. There was no reprimand for her at all. She continually said,
all the good people,
telling the students this.
Anybody in Rose, Michigan, you have got to pull your kids out of that school. You have got to pull your kids out of school until you can have a new election of school board members, and you vote every single one of these people out. And any of these churches, this Lutheran church that is supporting I am all for forgiveness, and I understand what a minister's job is, but the way this Lutheran church appears to be supporting the teachers and the pedophile is absolutely, completely outrageous. I understand forgiveness.
That church is literally a half a mile from our house.
Yeah. I would like you know what? See if you can get that damn minister on the phone. I would like to ask him to explain the millstone around a person's neck. I'd like him to explain that to me. I understand mercy and I understand vengeance. Vengeance belongs to God, and mercy comes from God as well. And we all have to be Christians. But for the love of Pete, what part of millstone around your neck do you not understand? This guy was a predator. He said if he wasn't affected by this at all, if it wasn't so bad for this kid, then why did what's his name, Neil Erickson, have to say you tell anybody and your parents are going to lose their job? Why did he have to threaten them? What is wrong with us?
Yeah, he gave him alcohol, and told him it was pop, and he groomed him. Hindsight's 20/20, but I can trace it back to 6th grade when he started grooming him, and
so he wasn't attracted.
I worked with him. I trusted him.
I'm sorry. So he wasn't attracted to your boy when he was 13. He was attracted to your boy when he was about 10.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
But he's definitely not a pedophile. There was just something magic happening.
First came out in technology.
Okay, Lori, last night I got a note, and it said that you guys were afraid that your house was going to burn down because they've already burned down. They already made threats, and then they spray painted and then burned your garage down. Yes,
and it also took out our camper, and if my husband wouldn't have heard anything, it already started melting the siding on the north side of the house. I mean, my child was in the house sleeping. I didn't hear a thing. It could have ended very badly. It's just
Lori, I mean it.
A continual nightmare.
Your family has been through enough. And I'm sure you have roots there and everything else, and I'm not for a guy to pack up and leave, but you have cancer. You are trying to heal your family. The last thing you need is to, quite honestly, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the South in the 1950s. This is like Klan stuff, except it's the teachers that are the members of the Klan, and it's the people with power. Do some research on a town called Athens, Tennessee. It's really sick. And Lori, if you ever want to move, I can tell you right now, I would guarantee we'd have a ton of listeners that would come over and help pack your truck and pack your house and welcome your family into a loving community. I'm not saying that your neighbors aren't good, but I'm telling you there's something wrong here. When your town votes to stand with a pedophile, your town has lost its soul.
Yes, they have. They've lost all the trust of the community. And you can't put a price tag on a child. They're looking at, if they're going to be sued, okay, let's deal with that as a community. But now you're choosing the teachers, and people are going to pull their kids from them schools at the cost of $7,000 a student. We've already lost 60. We have 35 in St. Helen, and we've got 25 on a waiting list. People are not happy. And the best that the board could offer was to provide ethics classes for every staff member and
Jeez,
they'll
don't.
try to honor the request of parents to pull their students from those particular teachers.
Don't. I can't take it anymore. I don't know how you're doing it. Lori, anything we can do to help you, you just please reach out to us. You have a friend in the media, and we will tell your story. And
we appreciate it, and we appreciate your generosity and the check to help us rebuild the garage. It's just we have a lot of overwhelming support, and
I wish there was
need
more
time
that
to heal, but we're not going to give up. We need to keep going because we don't know who the next student's going to be, and I don't want this happening to anybody else's family.
I wish there was more that we could do than a check to rebuild your garage, but there is no way to make up for this. Justice will come much later in life, actually after life. But it will be swift, and it will be severe, and it will be just. And I wish you all the best. And please stay in touch with us and let us know how we can help.
We will. Thank you so much.
You bet. You can find that story on The Blaze. You probably won't find it elsewhere.